Hello, Jim, Smoky Lake Maple Products. Sorry it's been a while since we did a video. I know a lot of you guys are requesting more videos and so forth. And we like doing videos. We know it's the best way to get information to you guys in a manageable form, but it has been busy. You guys have seen the light of American craftsmanship, and we appreciate it. It has been, it's been the busiest year we've ever had, and we're always expanding and doing what we can to keep up, but it's been busy. So today we're going to introduce a new product. Unfortunately, it's not going to be very mainstream for this 2021 season. It's something that we've worked on over the summer, this past summer of 2020, and it's been another commonly requested item. This is Victor. He is a new part of Smoky Lake Maple Products for the year 2020. He's a handful. A lot of people have had interest in vacuum filters, so that's something that came on really strong in the last couple of years. The Canadian manufacturers have all brought out their own Chinese-made canister style vacuum filter. They're all Chinese made, they're all the same pretty much. And the principle is to take some filters that were intended for gravity filtering and apply vacuum to them through a shop vac. And it does work. It's not something that's really intended for you bigger producers of like 300 plus taps. It does not replace the filter press in either quality or quantity of syrup, but the vacuum filter does enhance your typical gravity style flat filters. So I never want to be like the Canadian manufacturers. I don't ever want to bring on a product that's just the same. That's not what we do. But we did have to fill that demand. A lot of people want a vacuum filter, and so we did perfect a vacuum filter system. The reason our tried and true steam bottler is sitting here is because it is incorporated into that system. The steam bottler, a lot of people are very familiar with the steam bottler in its electric form and its gas-fired form. The steam bottler comes with everything you see on the front here: valve, thermometer, steam tray. This is the steam tray that's used on the gas-fired unit, the one that comes with a burner like this. All right, that's a typical kit. We also have an electric version where there's a heating element that's tapped into a little bit deeper steam tray. I don't want to get too far down into a rabbit hole on what makes a steam bottler work. There's videos done on that, so find those. The steam bottler is a fantastic piece of equipment. If you're a hobby producer or a mid-level or small level commercial producer, good chance you have one of these already.
So if someone has a steam bottler for filtering and bottling, this new vacuum system can be incorporated or added on to the steam bottler, correct?
Any of our 16 by 16 are larger size steam bottlers. Yeah, that's what it's made for. The first question I think we're going to get is, are you going to have that available for the 12 by 12, the smaller steam bottler? We're not. We're just not going to. It's something that it's dependent on not just vacuum, but also surface area in the filters and stuff. I don't want to get into making a smaller version of this, but the steam bottler, when you get it, comes with a filter tray that's used to hold the flat filters for gravity filtering. This is still going to be employed with the vacuum filter system. Let's jump into it. You see it sitting here. This is, instead of replacing your current filtering system with a brand new canister Chinese-made apparatus, what we're doing here is we're applying vacuum to this awesome device that already exists. A lot of you already have this. This will be available as an add-on for new purchases of the steam bottler, however it works out. So the way this works, the filter tray is taken out, the steam bottler, the vacuum apparatus. This will eventually maybe have some kind of a clearer name, but this is brand new. This video is a sneak peek at something that is probably going to be highly popular here in the coming months. But what this add-on is, it's another link in this very modular system, this already modular system. And you see it has a lip that drops into the pan. It has a big heavy O-ring on it. All right.
So you're creating a nice seal. So this is like
it creates a relatively good seal for the vacuum apparatus down to the top of your steam bottler. A shop vac, although it doesn't create very high vacuum, it creates a huge volume of vacuum. So it never reaches a very powerful vacuum, but tons of it. So it can afford some leaks. It doesn't have to be totally sealed, but we do our best with it. So so the vacuum filter system is going to come with this apparatus, which will have the valve for controlling your vacuum, your shop vac connection. Also, you see here we have a 1/4-inch threaded port that has a plug in it. We did experiment with putting a vacuum gauge on. It's very difficult to find a vacuum gauge that really covers the range that we're looking for. The max range that we're looking for when applying vacuum to a syrup filtering system is about 10 inches of water column, negative 10 inches of water column. And this reaches 30 inches of water column. That's a lot. So what we're finding when we use a gauge like this is the needle isn't really moving very much throughout its travel. Ideally, we would have a vacuum gauge. If we were to employ a vacuum gauge, the vacuum gauge would go from about 0 inches of water column to between 5 and 8 inches of water column. That would be ideal. So I'm finding that it's not all that practical. It's not giving us information that's all that valuable. So
FYI, it'll have a 1/4-inch NPT plugs that could potentially hold a gauge, but the gauge isn't really even that necessary.
We're going to look into finding something that maybe applies a little bit better to this. Something that where the whole travel range of the needle covers maybe from 0 to 8 inches of water column. That would be ideal. I don't want to send a gauge along that doesn't really do anything other than look cool on there. It's not all that practical, so there's no point in passing that expense on with the system.
Okay. Well, let's show us the other pieces, and then you can show us how you can regulate or monitor your pressure in other ways. Okay.
So we have this is the filter tray that comes with your steam bottler. This is not included with the vacuum filter set because you don't need it. You already have this. All right, that comes with the steam bottler. But it does come with an O-ring that you're going to use around this filter tray. All right, just slides on there, and then the filter tray drops in place. And that big Quebec manufacturer that likes to copy everything we do, they're eventually going to see one anyway. So I'll show that we have these lobes cast into the main housing. The reason I'm pointing this out is because people that are looking at this, they're going to see the vacuum comes in from the side, and when I drop this in, they're going to say, oh, why doesn't that just shift over and plug off the vacuum? Because I've prevented that here. All right.
Those little...
That's what these lobes are machined into this.
So that the tray doesn't
block off the filter.
Block the suction.
Block off the vacuum, yeah, exactly. So then that drops into place. After that, you will have to, if you're going to reuse your filters that came with your 16 by 16 steam bottler, if you're going to reuse those, you're going to have to trim them down to exactly 14 inches by 14 inches. We also have a filter set that's already pre-cut for this application. Now the same thing, we have your thicker, what we call an Orlon, it's an artificial name sort of, but your thicker Orlon filter along with your several layers of pre-filters. I'm going to get those all lined up perfectly, and I'm going to drop them all in together. Again, like always, your thick Orlon filter is on the bottom.
Cool. And so I know when you're doing gravity, you want to create more of like a bowl shape because you don't want syrup to go around the filter and sneak around it and
That's
whatever.
right. Yeah.
But with this, you'll have another piece. Do you want to show us the next piece why it doesn't matter?
When you're doing a gravity filtering system with the steam bottler, which by the way works really well. If you're not able to afford a filter press or any other apparatus, don't look at a cone filter. Don't look at a cone filter. Look at this steam bottler system. Just with a gravity filtering system, it does work well. But like Angela said, with the gravity filter system, these filters ride up along the sides so that when you pour your syrup in, it's like in its own bowl, a filter bowl, so nothing can get around the filters. Now here we have it cut perfectly to the bottom of this filter tray. And that's important for fitment.
Ouch.
Because after that's in place, now this drop lock piece comes in on top. All right, you see that fits very, very snug in here.
It seals it down, yeah.
It seals it down, and then we have these spring cams which really hold it tight. And when I close these down, I just feel American craftsmanship.
Yeah. I
hear
it. I hear it.
You can hear
I feel it.
Yeah, hopefully you guys can feel it. And now you're ready to apply vacuum. For now, we're sending out a transparent 3/4 inch NPT nipple. That's to help you along as you get going on this. The last thing you want to find is that you're pulling syrup in through your filter. That's very difficult to do. If you're able to pull syrup through here, that means you have a significant leak somewhere. That could mean that you're missing one of your O-rings, or you have a tear in your filters. Something's wrong if you're pulling syrup through here, but I want you to be able to see that. You worked hard to get that syrup made.
You don't want it to go into your shop
You don't want
vac.
that to get sucked out into a shop vac, all right? And you are adjusting your vacuum here anyway. So when you apply vacuum, and we've done a lot of testing with this already, and I found it helpful to have this because our first tests were with water, which is obviously far more viscous than even hot syrup is. And I could, with enough leaks in the system, I was able to get some water splashing through here. That was good information for me as I was developing and testing. And I see that as an advantage, having that on there. I want you to be able to see that. That's by far more important than a vacuum gauge could ever be, just being able to see here. And I'm not doing a demo right now because it is January 30th today, and we are swamped. We're working 7 days a week, building and packing this American
You guys really got us
glory
going.
product
Yeah,
out
you guys got us running here.
there. Yeah, you got us running, and appreciate it. It's been a challenging year in a good way, in all good ways. But we're not doing a demo right now because 2 reasons. We don't have time. We're low on syrup, and these things are not readily available right now. It's going to be at least another month before these things hit market, at very least another month from now. Again, it's January 30th of 2021.
Well,
It's going to be late spring. You will be able to filter your syrup on this stuff if you have patience to wait for it to come later on.
I have a couple questions.
Sure.
Well, what am I supposed to do with my cover?
The lid does still fit. I didn't even intend that. When I started developing this, I said, well, when the vacuum filter applicator is in place, the lid's probably not going to fit. But as it turns out, it does.
Wow,
It actually-
wow.
It fits perfectly. So that was a little bit of a luck, I guess. I don't know if it's that important that it fits, but it does.
So you're just, it'd be cool to keep your syrup warm while it's in the filter? Or is that why
actually, in between, like if you're using this right at the evaporator, of course it's nice to keep things covered. Even though, you know, if dirt gets in here, it's on
being filtered.
It's on the dirty side of the filter, but still, great. It fits.
Okay.
I mean, I'm meant for that to work like that.
There you go. That's what you're supposed to say, Jim.
Yeah. Well,
let me try to stump you with another one.
Sure.
Why am I using pre-filters if I can't pull a pre-filter out?
That is a very good question, and that is something that I found as I was developing this and testing. Part of the reason is when I only had one filter in there, it did allow at least warm water to come through with such velocity that I was getting some out right here. So by putting those pre-filters in place, it does seem to slow the hot product down just enough to keep the air from coming in behind your syrup and allowing it to get
the perfect amount of flow.
Yeah. Also, more filters do somewhat help the filtering as well.
Okay.
So I do recommend employing those. And the way we have the spacing all figured out for the drop lock piece, it is meant to have 4 pre-filters and 1 Orlon filter in there anyway. So it's...
Oh, you mean it just fits and snaps in perfect with that thickness?
Amount of tension. Yep. Also, a third reason will be that the thicker, the more filters you have, the thicker the overall media is. And that does allow for a more positive compression of that media when we lock this down.
Lock it down.
So there's several good reasons that the pre-filters still need to be used.
Okay. I do have a couple other questions that I've heard from customers.
Sure.
Should I use DE?
I think DE does help slightly. I've even seen DE work, add a little bit of advantage with a gravity system. It's not like a filter press where it's imperative, but the use of DE, meaning diatomaceous earth, meaning filter aid, the use of DE, if anything, it's positive. Yeah, there's no negative to it.
Okay. And what type of shop vac would I need to be able to use the system?
Yeah, I don't go get a big Mother Bertha thing. Technically, by principle, you could use any shop vac that you have laying around, but I recommend getting a new one.
But does it need to have like a certain nozzle or something?
Well, typically the smaller shop vacs are going to have the 1.25 inch hose on it. I found even a 0.5 horsepower shop vac, which is a very small shop vac, I found that to be sufficient in reaching the vacuum that it takes for this to function really well. You will see, especially on the bigger shop vacs, this is a square container. A lot of engineers might look at this and question its viability to withstand vacuum, because it is square. It's not round. It's not cylindrical. And you will see the sides pull in quite a bit when you have clogged filters and maximum vacuum applied, but it is not enough to cause any concern. Like I said, the shop vac, any shop, even a big shop vac, doesn't create a very powerful vacuum, but just a super high volume of vacuum. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty wide open. If you're using a very, very big, powerful shop vac, you may have to watch your restriction valve here a little bit, but any of them are going to work.
Okay. And do I need to filter at a certain temperature?
Yeah, it's the same principles apply here as with any other
gravity filtering.
Gravity filter or even filter press. The warmer the better. With the limitation of you don't want your filtered syrup going through like above 195 degrees, because it could actually be creating some sugar sand. It could be precipitating some sugar sand as it goes through.
Yeah. If it's too hot on the other end.
If it's too hot on the clean end of the filters, yeah. But that's not very easy to do. Even if your syrup is going in at 200 degrees, or even 219 degrees, chances are it's down under 190 as it comes through the filters on the clean side.
Yeah, it's surprising how fast it can cool, actually.
Yeah, it's surprising and sometimes disappointing how fast it is, yeah.
Right. Do I need to wet my filters before I start? Like when I do a gravity, I always dampen the filters to help the flow start.
Same thing applies here. Wetting the filters does move things along noticeably better, just like it does with gravity system.
Okay, and then can I reuse the filters?
Yep, you can reuse the filters just as you do with the same filters when you're using a gravity filtering system. They are reusable.
Just hot water, rinse, and no soap.
Yep, and no wringing them out. That bottom main Orlon filter, same with gravity filtering. I always recommend you mark which side you use in the up position. Again, the reason for that is if you are washing your filters out. I'm a hands-on guy. I may as well just grab the filters out of here.
Oh, look at those nice locks. Oh, yeah, baby. That feels good. I like it. High five, Jim.
Try copying that Valier.
I'm so proud of you, Jim. This is a cool thing.
All right, so I'm just going to pull the filters back out of here. When I talk about the main Orlon filter, I'm talking about the thicker filter on the bottom. This is the one that I like to write up on the side that I have in the up position. The reason being is when you wash this and there's sugar sand embedded in the surface, I don't want that to ever escape. If you fail to get it out during your wash process, I don't want you to invert this and now your hot syrup comes through and flushes that sugar sand through into your clean product.
Right.
So that is being probably very anal retentive and picky on my part.
No, you?
Yeah, well, if you're going to do it, do it right.
Perfect. Gotta be perfect.
It's got to be perfect. So this I always like to have in the same position. These filters don't matter
as much. Yeah.
Not really at all. First of all, dirt can't really embed very, very well into this because it's so thin. And second, that Orlon filter is going to catch anything that might get through these anyway.
Great. Well, I'm sure people will come up with more questions for us, and we can have a follow-up video too. And
there's going to be more videos coming on this.
Yeah, we really look forward to doing a demo when time allows.
Yes, when time allows, and our syrup crop is bountiful, like hopefully it is this year, we will do a demonstration on this unit. We will actually be filtering syrup through it. We'll have a noisy shop vac out here, but we'll do our best to make a nice video to actually show you guys how it works. So this is just another American product that I'm super proud to share with everyone. And again, thank you for all the business, and it means the world to us.
Yeah. So I guess this is what it boils down to, eh, Jim?
This is what it boils down to.
All right. Have a great night, everyone.